Hey, how's it going guys? Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to kill Basilisk Knights, but before I start this video, if you're looking for more Slayer guides, please check out the description box below for a full list of all the guides I have posted thus far. Enjoy the rest of the video. So I've broken up this guide into 3 different sections. The first section goes over the information about the monster, as well as the recommended items I would bring. The second section goes over the armor selection, depending on the attack style you want to use. And the third section goes over each of the locations, what your inventory and quick prayer should look like, as well as an example kill for the monster. So feel free to pause the video now to write down the timestamps, and then you can skip around the video to watch the parts that you want to watch. So let's quickly go over the information charts for Basilisk Knights so you have a better understanding of this monster before going in. And just a quick note, you must have completed the Fremennik Exiles quest in order to access Basilisk Knights. If you want the monster assigned by Konar, Duradel, or Neve, you must have also purchased the Basilisk reward from the Slayer shop. Looking at the combat info, they have a combat level of 204, they have 300 hit points, they are currently in one location which is in the JORMUNGAND'S prison, they have 2 different attack styles including melee and magic, and the max hit of both of these are 20. They also have a special attack which they use once in a while which can hit 40 plus, but as long as you have your auto retaliate on, you will take no damage from this attack and you'll only be frozen for about 2 seconds before your character starts attacking again. Also, they are aggressive monsters, and their main weaknesses are crushed and range attacks, which I will talk about in the next section. Looking at the Slayer info, they require a level 60 Slayer in order to damage them. They give 300 Slayer XP per kill. Looking at the combat stats, their attack, strength, defense, and magic levels are pretty high, but killing them shouldn't be a problem as long as you have some decent stats and gear. Looking at the defensive stats, you can see that it's weakest to crush attacks and range attacks, but even its stab and slash defensive bonuses are not that high, so using weapons of that category is definitely possible. Also, this monster is immune to poison and venom attacks. If you have purchased the bigger and badder reward from the Slayer store, you may have a chance of encountering the superior version called the Basilisk Sentinel, which you need to look out for. Basically, if you're using a ranged armor setup, you don't have to worry at all since you can safe spot it without taking any damage. But if you're using a melee setup, it will be much more difficult to tank since its combat levels are much higher than the normal Basilisk Knights. If you're using melee, you don't have to worry. You can bring a ranging switch with you so when the superior does show up, you can safe spot it easily without taking any damage, and I've also accounted for it later during the inventory setup of this tutorial. So here are some items that I will recommend to you that may help you on your Slayer task. A rune pouch is a great item to bring here because it can hold 16,000 of 3 different types of runes. You can fill the pouch with your high alchemy runes, and you can also store some of the rune drops that you get from this monster into your pouch. You can buy it from the Slayer store for 1250 Slayer points, or you can buy it from the Bounty Hunter store for 1.2 million points. If you use an armor setup that uses a lot of prayer potions, the Holy Wrench is a great item that helps you save money on restoring your prayer points. You get this as a reward for completing the Rum Deal quest, and essentially what it does is that it can restore up to 2 extra prayer points for every sip of a prayer potion, super restore potion, or a Sanfu serum depending on your prayer level. So now we will go over the armor setups, and feel free to use the timestamps on the screen now to choose your preferred attack style. So let's go over a ranging setup. On this chart here, I've highlighted some of the best armor choices in green on the left hand side, and the items to the right are also very good alternatives for this setup. And just a quick note, you do have to wear a mirror or a V shield when killing basilisks. For a ranging setup, the mirror shield is the best because it provides no negative ranging bonuses compared to V shield. So using the chart, I created a couple of different example armor setups for both higher and lower level players. Feel free to use it as a reference for building your own setup, and don't be afraid to swap things out depending on your needs. So now let's go over a melee setup. On this chart here, I've highlighted some of the best armor choices in green on the left hand side, and the items to the right are also very good alternatives for this setup. And just a quick note, you do have to wear a V's or a mirror shield when killing basilisks. For a melee setup, V shield is the best option because it provides much higher defensive bonuses compared to the mirror shield. So using the chart, I created a couple of different example armor setups for both higher and lower level players. Feel free to use it as a reference for building your own setup, and don't be afraid to swap things out depending on your needs. In the final section, I'll be covering each of the locations, what you should bring in your inventory, what your quick prayer should look like, and I'll also provide you with an example of how to kill the monster depending on the attack style you have chosen. So let's go over the Jormungand's prison location. The fastest way to get here is by using the Fremennik Sea Boots teleport and then traveling with Haskell, who is located on the most western dock of Relica. The next fastest way is to use a water birth teleport, which you can do in the Lunar Spellbook at level 72 magic, or by using a water birth portal inside a player-owned house. The next fastest way is to use an enchanted lyre teleport to Relica, and then running northwest to Haskell on the most western dock. You can also get here by getting yourself to the Relica house portal and then running north, And you can do that by moving your house to Relica for 10,000 coins along with level 30 construction with an estate agent, or you could also make yourself a Relica house tablet by using a scroller redirection that you get from Nightmare Zone on a teleport to house tablet requiring level 30 construction to make. If those are not options, you can also use the fairy ring code DKS to get yourself to the Polar Hunter grounds, and then run west to the docks of Relica and speak to Haskell. In terms of the recommended armor, I would highly recommend using a range setup because of how easy it is to safe spot Basilisk Knights and to kill them. My second option would be a melee setup, which is still an effective way to kill them, but since you need to tank the Basilisk Knights' melee attacks, it is much more click intensive than range as you have to always watch your health and prayer points with the setup. Also, you are not allowed to use a cannon here, and there are multiple safe spots which you can use for killing Basilisk Knights. And taking a look inside the prison, you can see that there are two different rooms for killing Basilisk Knights. I've highlighted the room that I like to use the most, and I like to kill them in the most western part of the room, and I'll also show you guys how I kill them in the example kill of this guide. So going over the inventory setup, here is what I would bring for each attack style, and you can copy it completely or you can change it depending on your needs. Same with the quick prayers, here would be the settings that I would choose, but if you want to change them, feel free to do so. So here's an example of how I would kill Basilisk Knights in the JORMUNGAND'S prison. After traveling with Haskell on the most western dock of Relica, you can just run a bit northwest and enter the cave entrance. So you want to take the path southwest, and the moment the path splits, you want to head west. As you run through the corridor, you can turn on your quick prayers and then just keep running to the western side of the room. You can see where the safe spot is, which I've highlighted on the floor. You can go ahead and drink your stat boosting potions, turn on your auto retaliate, and then just click on the Basilisk Knight to start attacking it. When you need to pick up the loot, you can just use the telegraph spell so you don't have to leave the safe spot, and the best way to save inventory space is to fill your rune pouch with nature, smoke, and law runes. If you're using melee, just make sure that as you're running through the corridor into the western Basilisk room that you activate your quick prayers. When you get to the western side, you can go ahead and drink your stat boosting potions, turn on your auto retaliate, and just make sure to have your crush option selected if you're using a crush dominant weapon. You can also see where I've highlighted on the floor where the safe spot is if you encountered the superior version Basilisk Sentinel. If this happens, you can just run to the safe spot, switch to your ranging setup, have your prayers turn to protect from magic and also Hawkeye if you want, and then just attack the superior monster. Anyways guys, I'm gonna end the tutorial here. If it has helped you out, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave a like on this video so more people can find it. And also make sure to check out my other Slayer guides in the description box below. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later!